Yeah, welcome in. Welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast Live. Yes. Thank you for the applause. I appreciate that. Nah, but seriously, we got a heck of a show lined up for you today. Obviously, you can see from the rundown, we're gonna talk some boxing, but it's that second topic that kind of has the sports world like ablaze right now. And so we're gonna dig into that. Got some good commentary on it. Yeah, we're really gonna get into that. Obviously, Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever, they're on a hot streak, and they got a huge game tomorrow against Angel Reese in the Chicago Sky. That should be big. And of course, we're going to finish up with some NFL talk because, I got to talk some football, and Dak Prescott is going to be what it is. So before we get to that, you know what time it is. If you're here on YouTube and you haven't already, please make sure you go ahead, click that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast, and we should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us that like, that 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. And finally, make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, set an alarm, do whatever you got to do to remember. Saturday nights at 7 p.m. we are live here on the Format Podcast, and we'll give you the opportunity to call in, talk to us, get at me. I love it. I can't wait. All right, team. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started. And I know G's been chomping at the bit since last week to talk some boxing. We hadn't gotten around to it. There's been different things going on in the sports world. Of course, we had to hit the JJ Redick talk and hit some other stuff. But we're going to get right to it. Make sure we got it on the rundown as the very first topic so we wouldn't skip it. So let's get right to it. G, you want to open up? Let's talk some boxing, man.
Yes. So I think boxing coming back around. I look at like all the fights. Javante pretty much locking up the 135. There's a few other people that's out there that's boxing is back, right?
I agree.
It's back. It's entertaining. It's a great sport to watch. And the people, my guy, the local guy, Tank Davis is giving the people what they want, right?
Be more stand up, right?
Yes, sir. Knockouts and backflips. Backflips. And so very exciting to watch Tank Davis. I'm really, really proud of the guy. Like, but yeah, 30-0. I mean, I don't know if people got a chance to watch it, but it's definitely had everyone on the edge. All his fights does. They have you on the edge because you're like, damn, he's losing early on.
Yeah.
And his style is just wear you down, and then it's lights out. I had the opportunity to go back, and I had some time. I went back and just really quick watch the highlights, and a lot of his fights end in between the 6th and the 8th round. I know we talked about this before the fight.
Yeah,
and I told you what was going to happen. The muscle mass. He looked like he definitely looked like an opponent worth putting your money on. There's a lot of people lost a lot of money, but at the end of the day, man, he's knocked his lights out as usual.
Yeah, per usual. Was he 30-0 with 28 KOs, I believe now?
Yeah, 97% knockout.
That's
phone was ringing off the hook after he knocked him out. Like a lot of people didn't believe in Tank, and I don't know if Bruce is on yet, but he'll probably come on and talk about the mustard seed of doubt.
Mustard seed.
Mustard seed of doubt. Yeah.
Well, so I look at that, right? So remember when we talked about it pre-fight, one of the things I talked about was just the physical size, right? The disparity in physical size. And I'm saying, okay, this is a guy who's considerably bigger. He should be able to lean on him, maybe take some of Tank's legs away, really walk him down when you got that, when you got a legitimate size advantage like that. And so going back and watching the fight and then seeing some of the highlights post watching the fight, it's like, why did he spend so much time like backing into the corner and going to the ropes? I mean, obviously we know Tank is a killer. We know he's got brutal knockout power in both hands. However, like Frank Martin, he's not a weak dude. He's got some knockout power, not like Tank, but I would have tried to, at least until he backed me up, I would have tried to walk him down. And it's like he tried to outbox Tank. And so there's two things here, right? Tank, obviously we seen the killer instinct at the end. When it's time to close the show, he closes the show like very few others in the game. However, with that said, he also has elite boxing skill, right? Like I say, he's not some small Deontay Wilder. He's a legitimate elite technician in there. And so, to your point, with the fights ending generally between the 6th and the 8th rounds, is like remember how they used to say like Floyd Mayweather takes the time and downloads his opponent? It's
Yeah,
like him, Terrence Crawford, now Canelo, the very elite fighters. A lot of times it appears they're starting slow. They might be losing the fight, but what they're doing is getting an idea of what their opposition is doing and how they're going to counter that. And to your point, also, like we saw the clips of before the fight. He's literally in the locker room with his trainer, and he's practicing what he is going to utilize to end the fight. Right, so he watches the film, he trains on it all camp, and then they go over it. Okay, when situation A happens, this is what you're going to use to counter that, and that's going to be lights out. And to your point, I was so impressed because I remember you told me about that. I was so impressed seeing that, and then watching how he got into the fight. Frank Martin appears to be winning. He's moving well. And again, if you're a boxer, it's hard for you to get away from what you do. But I would have tried to walk him down. But yeah, he's moving well. He's racking up points, so on and so forth. He's doing all that. And then Tank starts to turn the tide. And then as we saw, lights out. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy part is you could see Frank Martin right before he got hit with the coup de grace. He was all his hands was down and he looked like he was away. And Tank was like, let me help you.
yeah, that's it's a good sport. It's a good sport if you're a Tank fan. I mean,
Yeah, no doubt.
there's a lot of good fighters out there as well.
Hmm.
I don't think
Yeah,
this kid is ducking any fights. I don't think he's
he's not. I like
yeah,
that.
yeah, he's a big ticket guy. I think he's
Hmm.
on tap to sign like a $500 million contract with
Mm.
Amazon. So
Okay.
that's just hearsay. It could be upwards of more than 500
It could
for
be.
six fights.
I think if he gets a percent of the gate, then it'll be a lot more because we know he's a draw.
Yeah, yeah, he's gonna draw. And then there was discussion or talks of him actually his next fight being in the Raiders stadium versus
Mm.
MGM.
He
And
could sell that
so
out.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So they trying to increase the capacity for his fights because everybody come out to watch him.
Hmm.
It's a good showmanship.
Yeah.
I think he did a good job of displaying Frank Martin.
Hmm.
He did a really good job of showing him off and his skill,
Hmm.
and just putting him on display versus other fighters. Right, like he shared the screen with him, and you wouldn't see one without the other during the last couple of weeks. And so that I thought that was a really good.
Yeah, they
Um,
did a good job selling the fight.
Definitely beneficial for Frank, who
Hmm.
of course, took that L.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. So I got a question for you. What do you think everybody wants to see? You think they want to see the knockout or they want to see the backflip?
Somebody said, like, just imagine getting knocked out and you wake up to him doing a backflip from the
Oh,
top
that's
rope.
terrible. Yeah. Because you might not even see the knockout coming. You just wake up and you like, damn, he got me. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that'd be wild. But yeah, Tank is that dude. Tank is that dude. Did you see the rumor that he allegedly sent something to Mayweather challenging him to a fight? I don't believe that, but I saw that somewhere.
I saw on what was it? It is what it is. They talked about him, a dream fight for the fans.
What's up,
And
fam? We gonna get there. We're gonna get there. That second topic. I know that's what you're here for. We're gonna get to it.
yeah, they talked about the dream fight of Mayweather versus Tank, because they both appears to have like a chip on their shoulders, or there's
Hmm.
some animosity between the two. So
Hmm.
I
Well,
think well,
sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
no, you get
No, I was just gonna say, there's no way Floyd is gonna do that. One, was he like 47 years old now?
yeah,
Even though he's in supreme condition, and that's one. I was never a fan of how Floyd conducted the latter half of his career in terms of really manipulating the opposition, manipulating when he's going to fight guys, how he's going to fight guys, blah blah blah. But I am a huge fan of the level of discipline that he exhibits toward his craft, and being the best boxer that he can be. Apparent from what I heard, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. He's never engaged in drugs or anything like that. So he's showing that that discipline, and what he says when he's training, that hard work, dedication, it pays off because he doesn't even fight anymore. I saw a picture the other day of Marcos Maidana and Floyd Mayweather, and Marcos Maidana, he don't look like he was ever a professional fighter. You know what I'm saying? And Floyd Mayweather Jr. is still totally ripped. So I believe, due to the limited amount of damage he took physically in the ring, Floyd Mayweather, if he wanted to, he could come out and take that fight, and them dudes would make $1 billion on that
Yeah.
fight.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. But
Yeah.
that said, Floyd is not going to get anywhere near anyone who could possibly, you know what I'm saying? He's not doing that. He's just that's not him. He's not built that way.
I think at
But,
this point,
again,
it wouldn't be a bad show, right? 50-0 versus 30-0.
mm-hmm.
Best of the past versus the next guy up.
Yeah.
I don't think that. I think that would sell. Definitely would sell. So
Oh,
it
what?
depends on them making it happen, and greed gets involved in those things. And
You know who can make it happen? I just thought about it. I know who can make it happen. Turkey Al Sheikh, the Saudi
Yeah,
minister of sport, he could make it happen because they got endless bread over there.
yeah,
So
yeah.
if you tell Floyd, hey, here's a bill, you tell Tank 500 mil, they gonna go do it.
I
They'll
think
do it.
it'd be a good sunset for Floyd, right?
Mm.
It'd be a
Mm-hmm.
good sunset for Floyd. I
Yeah,
definitely would have Tank in the
I
eighth.
would too. At that point, the youth and the vicious power, and again, Tank is not just, he's such a technician in there. That's why I got a lot of respect for him. At first, I was just like, this dude just, throw bombs. But the more you watch him, you're like, yeah, this is a very skilled fighter.
Yeah, he get hit too. I mean, he also gets hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His
But
next fight's supposed to be Lomachenko in November. I heard talks of that going down. So we'll
yeah,
see
that's
if
what
they can make
that's
that
what I
happen.
was going to bring up next. Who you would like to see him fight next? Because for me, it's between Loma and Shakur. But I don't know that Shakur can stand up to Tank's power. If he gets hit, it might be. I mean, so far, darn near everybody's been night if they get hit by Tank. So I don't know if Shakur is ready for that. I believe he can outbox him, but I think from what I've seen, it's like it's only a matter of time before Tank gets to you. He's going to
Yeah,
figure out a way to get to you. And I also don't know if Shakur Stevenson has the power to keep Tank off of him.
yeah, yeah. They said he don't like to get hit. So
Well, I would presume no one wants to get hit by Tank.
yeah, he
You
gonna
know
get
what I'm saying?
yeah,
There's
yeah,
a
yeah,
reason he got that
absolutely. But just in
name.
boxing in general, like yeah, like he backs up a lot. I want to see him fight because he was talking a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to see how Tank what would be his game plan to somebody who runs around the ring
Mm-hmm.
like he does? Because you saw when he's fighting Frank Martin, he was he closing in, he's stalking him in the entire
Mm-hmm.
fight,
Yeah.
closing the gaps, and he pretty much dominated the fight from
Cut off his
a
movement.
spacing,
Yeah.
yeah, from a spacing standpoint. But he also was getting hit, so I'm
Mhm,
curious to see how he does with someone like Shakur, who's
mhm.
extremely technical with the gloves,
Yeah.
um, and and he likes to back up. So that'll be interesting. I think Frank gave him some problems, stole some rounds because he was
Mhm,
kind of baiting them in and
mhm.
unloading. But it's water under the bridge when you get knocked out.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
But again, that's the problem. Like you may be able to pot shot him. You may be
yeah,
able to outbox him, which I believe Shakur can do, which again we saw Frank Martin doing, but it's only a matter of time before Tank, number one, figures you out technically, and number two, realizes, wait a minute, I could walk him down. His power can't hurt me. And
yeah,
that's the problem with Shakur. I don't think Shakur wants that fight right now. I don't think he's big enough or strong enough yet. He might need to grow into his man body another year or so. I don't think he wants that fight. Again, I have no issues. I love Shakur. I think he's so sound. His skill set is so awesome. But when you're dealing with a guy who can box and punch, that's probably not the one you want. Not
yeah,
when you're young.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's my thought. All right, so let's go to, what was that? The co-main event, or was it the undercard? David Benavidez.
Undercard.
Okay, so on the undercard of the Tank fight, David Benavidez fought Alexander Gvozdyk, former, I think he was former light heavyweight champion, and that was for I think an interim light heavyweight championship, and that was David Benavidez's first fight in the weight division. And that dude, man, I like him a lot. He's got what Mike Tyson gave him the name, the Mexican Monster. He's got a lot of skills. He's got a lot of power. He's another guy, undefeated, knocked out a lot of dudes, but he knocked them all out at 168, super middleweight. But the problem here now becomes he wanted the Canelo fight, and Canelo is taking the Floyd model. He's trying to duck that fight, literally left his promoter so he wouldn't have to fight David Benavidez. But um, David Benavidez, super skilled. He's got knockout power, but the question is, can that knockout power carry all the way up to 175? So we see the highlights of this fight here, and he was landing some good stuff, flush on Vosdick, but you know those shots might have put people down at 168. He wasn't able to get that done at 175, and so I think, I mean, he's a big dude at 168, but I'm also looking and I'm like, just everybody is not like a weight room warrior, but look at the difference in the body type at 175. I think Benavidez, to me, he looks like he probably needs to get stronger. He looks like he needs to put in some work, with the nutrition and with with the weights. But I mean, his body's been pretty much like that his whole career. But he has very fast hands for that weight division, and he's got power. But now we have the problem of, okay, he wins the fight, he beats Kvodzik, and it's like, what next, right? Is Canelo gonna take this fight next? I don't think so. So now you're in a situation where you got to fight the winner, most likely, of Dmitry Bivol and Arthur Beterbiev, which is gonna be whoo. Bivol is an excellent technician. Arthur Beterbiev is the other boogeyman in boxing besides Tank. So Tank is what, 30-0 with 28 knockouts. Beterbiev is 20-0 with 20 knockouts at light heavy. I mean, his hands are destructive. So those two, I think, are scheduled to fight in like September, October, something like that. And so, and now we're waiting to see, okay, is Benavidez going to fight the winner of that? I think the winner is going to be Beterbiev, and I don't think that I really don't think that Benavidez wants that fight. I mean, he wants that fight because he's got a warrior spirit, and I love that, but I don't think he should want that fight. That's kind of my take on it. Have you seen enough of Benavidez to kind of form an opinion on him? Do you
I
have any
watched that.
thoughts on
I
him?
watched that last fight, and a
Okay.
lot of people got up and walked away.
Mm.
I thought his
It was
hands
all
were,
waiting for Tank.
yeah, pretty much, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. But I thought the guy that he fought was and it looked like he was in really really good shape.
Hmm.
To be that age, I think he's like 38 or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. All those
Older
Eastern
guy.
European fighters are old because they can't get over here to fight until they're like 30 or 32 years old. So by the time we see them, they're all getting up near 40, and that's a killer.
Yeah, I think he had like 10 years on, but still in good shape. Um,
Mhm,
uh, Man, he was jumping in the air, punching him. He was just a punching bag that fight. I mean, he
mhm,
tried really well, but he wasn't opening up. wasn't going blow for blow. It was a good fight. I mean,
mhm,
he won a few rounds, but it was just all Benavidez. He really put paws on him. Even though to me, I felt like he didn't have that power.
mhm.
Like the power wasn't there, or he would have been put him to sleep. Or this
Yeah,
guy just had a unnatural,
right. Iron
uh,
Chin.
yeah, Iron Chin
Yeah,
or something like that, man. But
yeah.
he was definitely touching him, and it was fun to watch. That was a good fight. It wasn't as exciting as the Tank fight, of course,
Of
or
course.
some of the other fights on the undercard. It was more of just it was one sided.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think introduction to the division for Benavidez. So I'm sure he was trying to put on a good performance, but maybe not do anything risky and possibly, risk bigger fights down the road. I want to see him fight Canelo so bad, but I'm just so disappointed in Canelo seemingly ducking him. I don't like that at all. But at least he's not going to be able to pull the movie pull with Triple G because Benavidez is the younger fighter here, so he can't wait for him to get old and then go beat him and then hear some nonsense. So we'll see what Benavidez is going to do here. I want to see what he and Canelo can do. I think he would beat Canelo, but you know I thought a lot of guys could beat Canelo. So.
Yeah, that body. I don't know about that one, man. I would have went straight to his body if I was the other guy.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
it didn't look like he was in no type of shape, and then he wasn't
Mhm,
throwing enough punches. The body was wide open the whole fight, and
mhm.
I just felt like he wasn't throwing enough. His game plan coming out wasn't to win. I think he was just in there to survive and get this bag. That's kind of what it looked like. But
Um, I mean, it's
you see
possible.
you see that a lot though, man. Once the bell ring, you know, you still gotta bring your heart to the ring as
You
well.
got
And the guy
nobody
was
could be in
definitely
the division.
fighting, but um, I mean, I saw that big belly and I was like, oh man, that's I went straight to his body.
Yeah, part of it also could be that this is his first fight at 175, coming up from 168. So when you're coming up in weight, and especially that first fight, your body doesn't look quite how it used to, obviously, and you're not maybe used to carrying that around. Because even when Triple G, who was always in great shape, when he came up to 168 from 160 to fight Canelo in the third fight, you could see 8 pounds doesn't sound like a lot, but you could see the difference in Triple G. He did not look like he was in the same level of condition that he was in at 160, even though obviously he was only carrying around 8 more pounds. But when you're used to, he fought his entire career at 160, so I think it's going to look different. It's going to feel different until you get used to dealing with that weight, training with that weight, conditioning with that weight, and shaping your body with that weight. It's a different thing, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so let's go to the final boxing story we got. So unfortunately, Ryan Garcia, man. So we saw Ryan Garcia a couple months back, hand Devin Haney at the time. What was his first loss? Uh, really beat him up in that fight. Devin Haney had never been knocked down before. He had never lost before. Ryan Garcia, after a lot of craziness in the buildup, he was able to end Devin Haney's undefeated streak. There you see his first ever career knockdown. Now, let me give credit. Devin Haney was a warrior. He fought till the end. Some
Mm,
guys, the first time they get knocked down or the first time they get beat up, they don't really know how to respond. And he never quit. He kept getting up. He kept coming back, and he legitimately fought till the end. He wasn't running. He was, he was a fighter, and he went out like a fighter. But after all of that, we find out that Ryan Garcia pissed hot and popped for 2 performance-enhancing drugs, which is very disappointing, I suppose, right? Because after you put in a performance like that, after you put in a performance like that, and then you find out that somebody is dirty, whether intentional or not, it takes all the shine, all the luster off, right? So the fight took place, I believe, Madison Square Garden. So the New York State Athletic Commission this week put down the suspension of 1 year on Ryan Garcia, which is tough because you know a fighter wants to stay busy, a fighter wants to keep getting paid, and I think they fined him. I can't remember what the fine was, but he got
like
fined.
1 million, 1 million.
There you go. I mean, Ryan Garcia's got bread, but nobody wants to hand over $1 million anyway, right? But
Yeah.
but yeah, so he's suspended for a year. But I think the good thing there is Ryan Garcia has been exhibiting a lot of wild behavior lately. So when you're in that situation there, it's like, okay, you're exhibiting wild behavior, you acting up, but go ahead now. You got a year, take that time and just get right. Get your mind right, get yourself right, and then come back and be the best version of yourself you can be as a fighter. Your thoughts?
I don't think he's been himself since Tank knocked him out. I think he woke
Mm.
up in a different dimension. We got a different version of Ryan Garcia.
Mm.
Uh, but I mean, I think he's a great fighter. I mean,
I do
outside of
too.
his doping, but I think
Yeah,
he's a
that's
good
tough.
fighter. And in my eyes, like not knowing E, I mean, that was a good game plan he had because he beat Haney like he beat the Golden Child like he was
Yeah,
his kid, man.
he
So,
did. He
but I
did.
think everybody knew something was up
Hmm.
because he didn't he came out that fight fearless, right?
Hmm.
Came out fearless. Um, like Haney punches. I like to see it fast forward a year or so. They do a rematch and it's clean, right?
Hmm.
And he set the record straight. I do know that he'll probably get a rematch. I'm almost certain that he'll get a rematch with Tank, right?
Hmm.
Because
I think
Tank
it's
said,
too
hey,
much money.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's a lot of money out there for that rematch. But
Hmm.
I'm definitely sure he'll get a rematch probably when he returned from his retirement or so or whatever. It was like 4 different boxers who retired this year and came back, and so
That's true.
um,
That's true.
there's talks that Haney is actually suing him now. So
Oh, he's suing him too? I didn't
Yeah,
realize.
he's suing him. Yeah, he's suing him as well. So that might be something else to watch out for.
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah, tough loss for the kid, man. It's never good when you cheat. Never good
No,
when you cheat.
no. But I mean, did he cheat? Did he? I mean, remember when Canelo got popped prior to the first triple G fight, and he got popped for PEDs, but he said he ate some bad meat, some infected meat in Mexico, which I thought was odd because he never trained in that part of Mexico before prior to Triple G, and then he goes there. But anyway, that's a different story. But the point is, um, you never know, right? You never know. You might. I mean, at the end of the day, you're responsible for what gets into your body. Your team is supposed to be looking out for you. You're supposed to be looking out for yourself. And if you end up ingesting something that makes you dirty, then what can you do, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I seen firsthand, man. Tank, his crew, they take care of him. His team, they really,
Mhm.
really take care of him from meal plan and everything.
As
And
they should.
so, yeah, so when I look at what happened with Ryan Garcia, the first thing I think is like, damn, they really failed him,
Yeah.
right? To
Yeah.
have him thinking that he needed a performance enhancer to beat Haney, man, like that should never happen. And if somebody did put something in his food before the
Mhm.
fight or so, shame on them. That's terrible. But unfortunately,
Yeah.
these young boxers he gonna suffer for it, man. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, so,
Yeah, I really should hope that he didn't actually cheat, but at the end of the day, none of that matters. So
yeah,
he's got a year. I just hope he takes this year. Like I said, I hope he gets right. Gets the right people around him and gets people that are gonna tell him, hey, you need to stop wilding. You need to do the right thing, whatever that is. If that's a closer embracing of faith, if that's going to whatever anonymous he may or may not need to go to, if it's rededication to his craft, spending as much time as possible in the gym, maybe. I mean, he's a huge influencer, so he's getting money from social media, but maybe he needs to back off of that some. We've heard all the studies about how negative social media can be with young people and such. So who knows? But he's really a talented fighter, and it would be bad for boxing if he doesn't get himself right. That's all I can say.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes when you lose, people do some desperate things, man.
That's
To
true
stay
too.
on top. So, um,
Yeah,
good thing is you get to take a knee and come back. You know,
that's it.
they
That's
didn't
it.
they didn't ban him indefinitely, right? So,
Nope, nope. All right. What we're gonna do right now, if you're here and you wanna call in, give your thoughts on this boxing topic, uh, and if there's any other fighters that you wanna discuss or bring up, you can do that too. Number is 904-219, was that 8264? 904-219-8264. There we go. So I do have it memorized. All right, yeah. So go ahead, give us a call, and we'll talk a little bit of boxing, and then we'll get on to the next one. It's not that serious. I see you, brother. Good to see you in the chat, man. Appreciate you. Average zero. Yeah, we about to get to this, man. This is crazy. All right. Well, it looks like we're not gonna have any calls on the boxing topic. Definitely was wanting to hear some thoughts from people on maybe who they were interested in seeing Tank fighting next, or what were their thoughts on Benavidez and Canelo. But I guess we're gonna move on to the I guess the main event of the night, right?
yeah, I realized I watched boxing I went to a fight party and
Mhm.
I was sitting around a bunch of folks who, they like the idea of boxing, but they don't really follow it. And
Mhm.
so um, they talked through the whole fight, man.
Mhm. Right.
I was
Yeah, I
not
think
used to
it's
this.
just yeah. I think it's just because so many fighters and so many promoters and so many belts, and it's so difficult to follow it all. That's why I think you and I talked about it. Turkey Al Sheikh is trying to what I read was that his goal is to try and put together a league, a boxing league where he buys out a lot of the promoters. Oh, we got a call. Let's take this. Antoine, what's good, my brother?
It's all good, man. Regarding the boxing topic, I
Yeah.
don't know if it was Triple G. I don't know if it was it Triple G that had the issue with the negative test or a positive test. Um, but the situation was about the whole eating meat thing and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was Canelo.
It is,
Canelo going into the
yeah,
first
Canelo,
Triple G
Canelo.
fight.
Thank you. Yeah, but that it is a certain way that they treat their meat in Mexico, where it does have um, what he tested positive for.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue is he would have had to eat so much of that meat for him
Right.
to make a positive test that it wouldn't have made sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So is it plausible? The percentage of that is very low, but yes, but no, not for no fighter, not for someone who is as athletic as in shape as he is.
Mm-hmm.
He would have had to eat so much of that meat for it to have a positive test that
Right.
it's not realistic.
No, I
It's
definitely
not
agree with
realistic.
you on that. I definitely agree. And I think the other thing is, as far as I know, I could be wrong, but I think I looked this up. He had never trained in, I don't think he had ever trained in that part of Mexico before. And suddenly he goes there to train for this Triple G fight, and then he comes back dirty. Like, to me, that looks real funny style.
It just it's been so much weird stuff that happened in boxing anyway that if you're a purist, it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to appreciate the art on the face because you never get the fights where both fighters are in their prime and you
Yeah.
got all these
Yeah.
different other scenarios,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
It's the
that
promoters.
that that hinders the interest. That's why the MMA has taken over
Mm-hmm. You're
because
right.
you got the best fighters coming at each other at all times, and boxing has lost that element. You think about Ali, Foreman, Mike Tyson. Whoever was available, they boxed. It's
Mm-hmm.
like,
That's right.
and we don't have that anymore. It's almost akin to what's going on, in the NBA and stuff like that. It's just
Mm-hmm.
these guys today, they want the money, but they want all the advantages. They don't want to win based on their own strength and their own integrity. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the issue. And it's going to continue to be an issue, let's say, sanctioned in some way. Um, Question to you: Are you familiar with the Cameron and Mace podcast?
Yeah, yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, I've listened to
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And they said something on it that actually made sense, and I wish a lot of people look into it. But apparently, it's someone, I think from Saudi Arabia or overseas, that's
Yeah.
trying to sanction all of boxing.
Yeah, Turkey Al Sheikh. He's the Saudi minister of sport, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken. I think you must have got
yeah.
in after G and I discussed that. And he's, from
Oh,
what I
I
read,
did, I did,
okay,
I did.
yeah,
But
from what I
one of
read,
the
he's
biggest
trying to
points.
he's trying to buy out a lot of the promoters and put them all under one boxing league. That way, the promoters can get out of the way, and that they can no longer be an excuse for the big fights not being made.
Yeah, you already beat me to the point, but that with Cameron mostly he made a very good point about what the issues we have, like the biggest fights that we want, they
Mm-hmm.
can be sanctioned now because they don't have anybody getting in the way. There is no middleman because
Mm-hmm.
he has control over everything. So they have the money, they have the resources, and they don't have
Right.
no interference if he's able to accomplish this. So
Yeah.
uh, I think I hope he's able to do it
Me
because
too.
that's going to take boxing in a whole different direction, and then
Yup.
people get the fight that they want.
Mm-hmm. And then in a situation like that, you're gonna find out who's really a coward and who got a heart. You're gonna
Yes,
find
sir.
out who's suffering from tiny heart syndrome for real at that point.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir.
You be
But
no
that's all
running
I
and
wanted to
hiding and no
add to it.
ducking. All right, good stuff, Antoine, man. Appreciate your call as always, man. It's about
Oh,
to
no
get
problem, man.
the next topic's about to get real hot, so stay with us, brother.
Man, I got words for this.
No
I'm
doubt.
ready to listen.
All
All right, brother.
right, man. Thanks for calling.
Mhm.